What's going on, guys? It is your boy Daft Kid. I definitely want to give a quick disclaimer. For those who don't know, we do have the show on Mixcloud. We've gotten quite a bit of attention and love on Mixcloud, which we're really happy about here from the EDM Filter family. If you're listening currently right now on Mixcloud, I want to recommend you guys the YouTube channel because, sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I make mistakes. I have, hiccups, stutter my words or whatever, mispronounce things. And I like to make my corrections on the YouTube videos. So sometimes, if you're listening to the show on Mixcloud, you'll hear these different mistakes and you might not hear the corrections or see them, I should really say. And, on YouTube, or I should say, I like to make the corrections when I notice that, sometimes I might mispronounce something, or I just stutter on something, or I'm just clearly not articulate at all. I'm like stumbling on my words sometimes. And I apologize for that, guys. But definitely for those of you listening at Mixcloud, check out the YouTube channel. We'll leave a link for you in the description. And for you guys who are already looking at the YouTube channel and seeing EDM Filter on YouTube, please don't forget to click that subscribe button. Please leave us a like. And well, guys, here we on to the next episode. What's going on, everybody? This is your host, Daft Kid, here on the EDM Filter Radio Show or the EDM Filter Show Podcast. Like I mentioned, disclaimer, guys, if you're listening on Mixcloud, don't forget to check out the YouTube version of each episode. That way you could see some of the visual things that, I like to include, especially when I mispronounce things. So speaking about disclaimers, the Opus Quad, that's one thing that I kept saying Opus last time. Honestly, it's funny because I had already seen a bunch of content before, and I knew it was Opus Quad, and unfortunately here I am still saying Opus in the moment. I apologize to Pioneer DJ and to all the viewers for that, but Opus Quad, definitely want to put that as a disclaimer. Also, another thing too, kind of just a little clarification on the aspect of the Opus Quad. When it came to my previous video on the review of it, I was talking about the addition of 4 channels on the mixer or the controller itself, and I think looking back at it, someone had already mentioned to me that it could have been a little confusing as to what exactly I meant by that. So just quick clarification again, guys, if you haven't seen that video already, go ahead and check it out. It's in our playlist, and let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. But in the last episode, when I was reviewing the Opus Quad, unfortunately, I wasn't very clear when I was explaining the 4 channels. So essentially, what I was trying to get at here is the person that brought this to my attention mentioned that it sounded like I was trying to say that this was the first Pioneer DJ controller that physically had 4 channels for you to mix with on the controller. And they were telling me, wait, how does it make sense? Because all these other controllers and mixers and all this equipment, the Pioneer DJ has the 4 channels on it, so obviously it has 4 channels, right? But what I was trying to say here is, I was referring to the all-in-one controllers, so the ones that have the LCD screen on the controller, so you don't need to have like an external laptop or anything like that, or tablet to look at your music or your playlist. This controller, what makes it special is that now within the software on the screen, you can have 4 tracks playing simultaneously at the same time. So essentially, you can mix 4 songs now at the same time on the controller, and being that it is an all-in-one, you got it right there all at your fingertips. So that was what I was trying to say in the previous video, and I understand that now it might have came off like I was saying that they were just for the first time implementing 4 channels on the controller, and that's clearly not true. So now that that's out of the way, let's get into today's episode. Again, guys, click that subscribe button if you haven't already. But today we're talking about the DADA UnSound Music Festival. So UnSound Music Festival has been around for some quite time. It's being hosted by Poland, and correct me if I'm mispronouncing, or forgive me if I'm mispronouncing, guys, and please correct me in the comment section below. But Krakow, Poland is, or Krakow, Poland is hosting the UnSound Music Festival, as they have been for some time. Now, they tend to kind of change up the theme quite a bit to fit the setting of the year, usually in the season that they're having it. We're talking about in today's episode though, and so for those who haven't, don't know what I'm talking about, UnSound Music Festival, to this year's theme coming up in October, from October 1 to the 8th of this year, 2023, is going to be the UnSound Music Festival in Poland, and it's going to be DADA themed. So for those who aren't familiar to what I'm talking about, please go ahead and go online, do some of your research. You'll find a ton of stuff on this. But just a little backstory on, UnSound, and particularly why they're going with the DADA theme. And for those who don't know what DADA is, I'm gonna give a quick little description, more or less, of where we're coming from here. So, founded around 1915 in opposition to the brutality of World War I, new forms of nationalism and capitalism. This was during a time where a lot of stuff was changing politically speaking. The DADA movement rejected ideas of progress, logic, rationality in favor of nonsense, outrage, and radicalism. Words and concepts UnSound will riff on while creating the 2023 program, including music, sound, performance, visual arts, and discourse. So I guess you could say DADA was essentially a movement back in the day, for people who were against all the political changes that was going on around the time of World War I, which, yes, was a very long time ago. So the UnSound Music Festival now wants to kind of bring back that theme and implement it for this year's festival, which I think is kind of cool. The thing about this year is how ironic, if you will, that we were just talking about not too long ago of the Spotify AI feature, right? If you guys haven't seen that episode, I recommend you guys check that out as well. Interesting enough, here's the Spotify AI, like I mentioned, could possibly really be a game changer in the sense of, whether you're having a home party, you're at some sort of, wedding, birthday party, maybe even some sort of fundraiser, banquet. All these different kind of events tend to have like a live DJ to play music for people. But it's possible that this new feature could kind of take that away now, because of the algorithms that the software uses to kind of pick and choose the kind of music that the algorithm thinks, or the new feature thinks is going to be appropriate for, whatever event music you're playing in. Apparently for this festival, they decided, UnSound, they decided to add now this AI feature that is essentially going to help them create the festival. When I say create, I mean like all the backdoor, stuff of setting up a program and, trying to creatively design how the flow of the festival is going to go in many different aspects. I'm sure we could get very deep into that, but that's not necessarily necessary for what we're currently talking about. But just to have an idea, there's a lot that goes into putting any really kind of event, especially festival. We're talking about music. And so in this case, what's interesting is they now essentially developed an AI software that's going to do all the work for them, in the sense of, curating this program and in all the sense of what, a program means for this kind of festival, and pretty much do it in the most creative possible way that possibly, the UnSound team wouldn't be able to do it. Now, I guess in a sense, if I'm understanding this correctly, being that they're trying to do like a DADA theme, right? Excuse me. I guess I could see where, like, and this is not like anything against the UnSound crew or anything like that. I'm not saying they're not creative or anything, but I can see why maybe using like, all the technology of how an AI works to accumulate all this different kind of data, data, to accumulate all this kind of data, to put it together and use it to create this very creative experience. And really, essentially, actually, AI in all different kind of forms that exist already do this really well. We could tell an AI now to create a picture using pretty much nothing, or if you will, like we won't give it something and be like mimic it. Instead, we'll just be like, using all the information you have with the internet and everything that exists, all the media that exists in mankind that we have online right now, create a photo from scratch, with human beings in there from scratch that don't exist, And I mean, they look perfectly like people having a good time, like at some party or something. And these people don't exist at all. Like they don't look like anybody else. They're computer generated images off of all the data that they've collected. Pretty cool. Could be kind of scary at the same time. So I could totally see people thinking like, whoa, that's really weird. Because it's really just the beginning of that kind of technology. And I mean, we could go very deep about how that could be a problem in the future, but we're not going to get into that right now. Right now, we're going to talk about this AI and how essentially, long story short, it's creating the festival for the UnSound team. And it's going to do it in a way where it's already taken all the data that's been done from the previous festivals and previous years, all the documentation they've had and everything they've stored in their databases regarding these events for years. We're going to use all that to create something a little spicier, if you will, with this like really old school, traditional kind of theme that goes with it. I kind of just want to quickly mention this and now just kind of give an overview about what I think about this. This is really interesting because, like I already mentioned, we were already talking about how Spotify is kind of doing something similar like this with their software. Now these people on these teams are using software, AI software, to do all this organizational work for them and to essentially create this event. Now, I think the most interesting part about this is to talk about so is this kind of now going to be possibly the route that we're going with here? I'm thinking, creativity, right? And when I think of music, I think of something that really touches the heart, really touches the soul. I mentioned in previous videos, you put on the right kind of music and it could really change someone. Someone could really be going through some hardship or whatever. Putting on the right song at the right time could change someone's life. So there's something about like music where it's like connected to the soul, if you will, and it's something that, well, AI would never understand because it doesn't have any emotions. So funny enough, they were talking to one of the directors of the UnSound Festival, right? And they allow whoever was interviewing this person to talk with this AI. And so the journalist, if you will, asked the AI, how do you feel? Are you excited? That you are essentially now the new director. Because you're putting all this together now, not some human being, but you, this computer. And so I quote here: when pressed to say whether they are really excited, the AI AD, which is essentially what the software is called. I should probably go back a step here and mention that what they're calling the software is, and I quote, Artificially Intelligent Artistic Director, or for short, AIAD. So when they're asking AIAD responded, as an artificial intelligence, I do not have personal experiences or feelings, and therefore I am unable to experience emotions such as excitement. However, I understand that the word excited is often used to convey enthusiasm or eagerness in a sense, and that is why I used it. Well, that's honestly the perfect answer to why this could possibly be a bit of an issue moving forward. Because essentially what the AI just said is what makes music, in my opinion. It's this connection, right? It's being able to feel the emotions that are conveyed with what's being said, or if it's not a song that doesn't have lyrics, a beat that just has that groove, man, just has that, whatever you want to call it, that just gets you moving. I know everyone's got that one song. You play it, I don't care if you're at a party or maybe just hanging out here at the house by yourself or with your family, whatever you put on that one song, you're going to be jamming, you're going to be moving, and you could probably be in like the worst mood, but here comes that one song that just has that beat, and you're probably telling yourself, geez, like here we go again. I have no choice but to start doing, cartwheels and everything through my home because it's just getting me in that zone no matter what. And well, that's what I think is the really special part about working for these companies that put together these events, because there's a complete emotional aspect to it, and there's that connection to the music through your soul and your spirit, if you will, and your body that sets us, aside from other people who aren't, say, very artistic or creative. And so all the creativity or artisticness is being taken away by a robot now, which, not to get too technical here, guys, but it's like, well, and instead of taking away someone's job, right? What if this AI really starts doing much better than how a human being and, the capacity of the human brain and how it could be creative and intelligent. So, what happens if the AI surpasses all that? And so then there will be no reason to have these companies that put together these festivals, because all these robots and AIs, if you will be able to do it for us and do it a lot better and make it way more artistic. And look, sure, I'm not saying these AIs don't know what they're doing either. I'm sure this theme or this festival this year, when it comes over in October, is going to be great. Like, I'm sure the way the AI is going to want to design, how everything looks, how everything feels, the flow, even from what it sounds like, it's going to determine the list of who plays at what order, and what theme, say if it's designing the festival or a stage. I'm more so what I meant. They're designing a stage at the festival, and if this festival has several stages, what's the best kind of theme for it, right? If we're already talking about DADA, what's this stage going to look like rather than this one? And what if it is way better than what a human would do? Well, there goes that person's, career, or that kind of job that they want. So that's kind of really why I wanted to bring it up, guys. And of course, shed some light on the UnSound Music Festival. It has been around for many years. I've heard nothing but great things about it. What's really cool is this festival really does bring out like really, really weird brand new sounds, but kind of like the whole theme of DADA, which is why I see why they bring it into this year's for the UnSound Music Festival, making it their theme. It's going against what society considers normal, right? I guess to put in an example for you, a lot of music we hear on the radio per se is kind of poppy kind of music, and because we as a society agree that poppy is a pleasant kind of vibey music that is nice to hear at kind of any time of the day or whatever, and you could cruise in your car and listen to it all day, and you'll have a pleasurable experience because it just has that kind of vibe that as a society we agree on is pleasant music, and then we give it a title, which would be pop. This festival, on the other hand, is going against all that, going against all the principles of what's normal, what's not normal, what is music essentially, and what is not. So I think it's really cool that this festival even exists in the first place. Like I said, heard a lot of good things about it. A lot of big people have already kind of been in and out of this festival and have contributed to the weirdness of it, if you will. And well, now you got this AI feature that might start doing the weirdness for us, and how really weird it's going to get, and how much is it really going to connect to someone's soul. But I guess on the contrary to that is, what if it connects to the soul, a lot better than a human being does? And well, what does that mean for us human beings when it comes to moving forward, setting up these events, but more so the kind of music that's being conveyed, right? And the kind of environment that we're trying to create. Is it really going to represent us, or is it going to start representing like a utopia from a non-existent, three-dimensional pixelated world that exists in a computer's hard drive, if you will? Anyways, guys, that's kind of all I want to talk about today. Again, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give us a like. Definitely want to shed some light on this. Do your research, guys. Check it out. If you can, go to this festival, actually. I know you'd have a great time. It is all the way in Poland, so if you are out here in the US, you might have to save up a bit to go. But if you're elsewhere in the world, and say you're close to Poland, maybe you're in Europe right now, actually, definitely go check this out. If you guys do go, please leave us a like and a comment, and in the comment section below, for sure let us know how the festival went. I mean, this is all the way in October, and this is being filmed right now like in March, so we still got ways to go, but still, come back to this video and let us know how it goes. Anyways, guys, I know, again, I keep saying we're going to be having a guest. We really are, but unfortunately we're running through technical issues and we're having a bit of a problem solving it. But it's okay, because I'm still coming to you guys with content, and I know it's content you guys like. So don't forget to hit the like button. This has been Daft Kid, guys, on the EDM Filter Show. Until next time, see you then.